Hi everyone, this is Grandmaster Ben Finegold back with more videos. Some of you may have noticed I made 3 videos a couple of days ago, and you guys were pretty happy about that. Yesterday on Saturday I didn't make any videos because my wife was playing in a chess tournament, and I was hanging out there, and then I had to play in the Pro Chess League. Actually, the original plan was to drop her off at the tournament, come back home, play my games, and go back to the tournament. But actually, they found a little cove I could plug in all my stuff, and I had a hotspot. And so I just played my games with the tournament and, in sort of a quiet room, so I didn't have to leave. And, well, since we have the kids on Valentine's Day evening, we decided to celebrate Valentine's Day early, and we went to a nice Thai restaurant we haven't been to before. So we had sort of a full day yesterday. I wasn't able to make videos. But I have a special treat for you. I'm going to make, drum roll please, come on, I want to hear the drum roll. You guys can do it. You can tap your table. The drum roll is I'm going to make 4 videos today, and each video will be probably 10 to 12 minutes, although I think my 3rd video might be about 6 minutes. And each video is going to discuss each game that I played yesterday in the Pro Chess League. In fact, I was thinking of something that was quite odd for a Grandmaster anyway. If you take all the serious games I've played, either FIDE rated, USCF rated, now this isn't rated the Pro Chess League, this is very serious. It's a team tournament. Magnus Carlsen's playing, Fabiano Caruana's playing, Wesley So's playing, Hikaru's played a match, Mamedyarov plays, and I could go on, MVL. And this is a very serious thing. There's a lot of prize money. We're playing 15 minutes. We're not playing bullet. So for serious chess, which I consider this to be, I actually think that yesterday I played the 2 best chess players I've ever played in that kind of serious format. And I'm 47 years old, so that's sort of weird. Obviously, MVL, who's top 5 in the world. And the first game, which I'm going to show you in this video, is against the French Grandmaster Etienne Bacrot. Bacrot used to be one of the youngest, if not the youngest, Grandmaster of all time. Obviously, that's Sergei Karyaka now, 12 years and 7 months. But I think when Bacrot became a Grandmaster, he may have been the youngest ever. You guys can check that, of course, and refute it in the comments. But he's definitely still in the top 5. He was, I believe, 13 when he became a Grandmaster. And in fact, when he was very young, sometime between the ages of 13 and 15, he won a match against Vasily Smyslov. And Bacrot has been slightly disappointing the last 10 years because at some point he was number 10 in the world. He was 2750 FIDE, and he never really improved. And he's sort of hanging around 2,700. I wish I could hang around 2,700. Okay, so I'm white against Bacrot. This was the game I prepared for the most. I knew 2 days before the match who I was playing. And in general, Bacrot plays the King's Indian, but he also plays some other stuff. So if he'd played the other stuff, I would have had to wing it. But he played the King's Indian. You know, when Bacrot's paired down 100, 200, 300 points, he seriously tries to play for a win with black. And usually if the opponent's near his rating, he doesn't mind drawing. But okay, against me, he has to win. Okay, and we get the classical King's Indian. And here, I used to play the bayonet attack quite a bit, where I would castle and then play d5 and b4. In fact, I'll show you what that is. At some point, there were only 2 serious players playing the bayonet, and this was in the mid-'80s, late 80s, and that was me and Luc Van Wely, although you could claim I'm not a serious player. I was only an IM at the time. I wasn't over 2,500 FIDE. And so you could just say Van Wely was the only Grandmaster playing this with white. But if you looked at a database between 1987 and 1991, at least half the games were me and Van Wely. And then when somebody like Kramnik started playing it, then it became really popular. Okay, and I haven't played the bayonet in a while because I studied it, 25, 30 years ago. So, okay. Normally I play anti-King's Indians, and I played this specifically because I wanted to play the exchange variation, knowing that Bacrot had to play for the win. And I always play bishop g5. So on the off chance he prepared for me, which is unlikely, I don't think Bacrot's preparing for me when he has to face Wesley So. But anyway, I played knight d5, which maybe I played once in my life. I've played bishop g5 like at least 10 times. And there was a Bacrot game in this line which he actually won, that went this way. And this is actually a famous game that Nakamura won a few years ago against the recently brilliant Indian player Adiban, who just had amazing Tata steel. And in that game, the game Nakamura versus Adiban, and also in the Bacrot game that he played about 3 years ago, both sides played rook to d7. Rook to d7 is the main move here. And I was still in my preparation for this 15-minute game, so I still had all of my time left. And I realized that black can also play the move rook c8, but you don't have time to look at everything, especially preparing for a 15-minute game. And of course, Bacrot did play rook c8. So now I was out of my prep. But okay, 13 moves of prep for a 15-minute game in a position which white has a very tiny advantage and queens are off. I was pretty happy. Okay, so rook d1 is the most common move. I played rook c1. The computer says they're about the same. And the idea behind rook c8 is black wants to play c5. Obviously, black's never playing c5 when his rook is on d8 because his pawn would be hanging. Okay, and here white normally plays either king e2 or castles or h4. I didn't know the position, so I played a4. I want to sort of attack the queen side a little bit, a6. And the game was fairly balanced. These moves are all very reasonable. Bishop f8. Bishop d1 is unusual, but I wanted to play bishop e2 and attack his pawn on b5. Okay, now probably black is a tiny bit better here because he has these ideas of c4 and knight c5, and his knight's coming in to d3 or to b3, attacking e4 and a4. And here he made an error. He played the move f5. And this is good for my private students because I always tell them when your opponent plays f5, you must play e takes f5, which of course is the best move. And now, if black did have any advantage at all, he doesn't now. And actually, I didn't see the correct move here. I didn't even look at it, which is funny. I continued with my plan, bishop e2. That's why I played a4. That's why I played bishop d1. I want to attack b5. But actually, I could have switched plans now and played bishop c2. And now it's not so easy for black because if he plays f4, that's not a good pawn structure for black. My bishop is fantastic. It can go to f5. Eventually, my knight can try to go to e6. And these pawns on the king side can become weak. So probably bishop c2 gives white a slight advantage. If he plays e4, which is even worse, then knight h4, it's very hard for black to defend his pawns here. And if he takes my pawn on d5, I can later gain a tempo by putting pressure on all his pieces. Although in this particular position, I'm not sure how you defend f5. So bishop c2, changing my plan, was a little bit better. But okay, bishop e2 is fine. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, he played c4, which I guess is forced, stopping me from taking on b5 and winning a pawn. And I defended my pawn on d5 with rook d1. He should probably play knight c5 here, but he played bishop to d6. Another slight inaccuracy. Knight h4, attacking the f-pawn. He thought a long time here, played f4. And now I made a mistake. I should play bishop to g4 probably, and the position's about equal. I played knight f5, or as I like to say, knight f5. I like that we're following all of my rules. I played e takes f5 earlier. I played knight f5, and now he always plays bishop f8. Attack, and now my bishop's attacked on e3. I played bishop d2, and now he made his third or fourth mistake of the game. And after that, white has no problem, although I had some problems, it turned out. He should continue on the queen side, something like knight c5. He played bishop takes d5, which tactically is a little bit risky. Again, he's black against me, but he has to win. I'm board 3 for our team, and he's board 2. He can't be drawing the likes of me. Okay, I played bishop takes f4, which is fine. And now he played the obvious move, since his pieces are all attacked. Played bishop e6, defending all of his pieces and attacking mine. And now I made a mistake. In fact, the correct move I never considered. It never occurred to me. I thought my move was pretty obvious. I have 2 pieces attacked, so I played knight h6 check, and then I don't lose anything. And after knight h6 check, black has a big advantage. It was necessary that I find the move bishop to g4, which I didn't see at all. And the idea is, if I can play knight h6 next turn, I can take all of his pieces. And if you're taking notes at home, taking all of your opponent's pieces is good. So knight h6 check, and then I take this with check, and everything's hanging. I'm not winning material, but I mean, after bishop g4, white doesn't have any worries. And computer says, I think it's either equal or white's a tiny bit better. It's very tricky, and that's why I didn't see the move bishop g4. And one of the problems I had in this match was against the higher rated players, Bacrot and MVL. They always had a big time advantage because they can play better than me and quicker. And at 15-minute, it's not good enough to play as well as your opponent. You have to play fast too. And usually that's not a problem for me because most of my opponents are lower rated than I am. But if I'm paired up 100, 200, 300 points, and I want to play at the same level as my opponent, I got to play slower. And you can't play slower in 15-minute. Okay, so bishop g4 was the right move. I played knight h6 check. He got on a check. I saved my bishop. And played bishop c5, which I think is okay. Maybe not the best move, but it's okay. And the idea, of course, is my bishop is defending my knight. So if he takes my bishop, my knight's not defended. So I move my knight. Okay. And he traded on e3. Material has been equal for the whole game. Nobody's been ahead anything. And after knight c5, I want to say this was my worst move of the game, but it was only my worst move up to this point. I made a worse move later. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me. Obviously, black's threatening knight takes a4, and I decided to trade on b5 and play rook d6. Well, if I play rook d6 right away, obviously that stops knight takes a4. His bishop would be hanging. So a takes b5 was a terrible move that I played. I mean, I'm activating my opponent's rook for no reason. I mean, the rook on a8, it can't do anything now. It's blocked by the a6 pawn. After rook d6, the computer says it's about equal. And I guess if two super grandmasters were playing a slow game, it would end in a draw. Okay, so I played a takes b5, which is a very bad move, because now look at his rook. It's, very active. Then I played rook d6. He played rook a2. I was afraid to play something like rook b1 or rook c2. Well, rook c2 opens up the back rank. It pins my b pawn. And rook b1 looks like he's just going to attack my rook later with something like bishop f7 to g6. So I played knight d1. The computer prefers me to defend it with a rook. It wants him to play knight b... No, actually, no, bishop f7 was okay. And then I played rook b6. He attacked my rook. He pinned my knight. It wants him to play king f8 here. I actually expected king h8. Okay. And I played h4. He played knight to d4, attacking my bishop. Bishop g4. And after rook g8, I made the losing move. Of course, I thought it was possible I was losing here because, his pin looks pretty damaging. His knight on d4 is fantastic. He has a 2-to-1 majority on the queen side. It looks good for him. And actually, I didn't realize that he had a big threat here. And to prevent his threat, all I have to do is play h5. And the computer actually says this is equal. It doesn't give black a winning advantage. My rook on b6 is very active. My king can go to h2 and break the pin, after which my knight can move. His e5 pawn potentially is weak. His king on h8 potentially isn't great. So after h5, I'm okay. I played king h2, breaking the pin. And I actually thought h5 was a mistake. And when he played h5, I was really happy. But it turns out after h5, I'm losing. So that's unfortunate. Well, the problem is my bishop has to defend my knight. Otherwise, he takes my knight. But there's no way to do that. His knight is protecting the squares, and his bishop's protecting h5. Of course, this walks into rook h6 check and all kinds of discoveries, but it doesn't matter. So I sort of failed miserably here because I had no time on my clock. I played rook h6 check, and the computer wants me to play bishop takes h5 check. I'm still losing, but it's close. Yeah, so I played rook takes h5, and here I should play bishop takes h5 check, and I'm still losing, but it's close. And it's not close after bishop e6 check. I win my rook back, but I lose the knight on d1. Well, now I'm just down a piece. So tactically, that didn't work for me, but I must admit I had less than 40 seconds, and I think my opponent had a couple minutes left. So I was going to lose anyway because of the time situation, but instead I lost very quickly. I played a random rook move, and he moved his bishop. Okay, now I'm down a piece for nothing. So I resigned here with no time and no position. Somebody was complaining on chess.com on the live feed. Why did you resign here? What's wrong with you? When I put it in the engine, it said that my opponent was +6. And obviously down a piece for nothing and with no time on your clock, and your opponent's rated 2,700, it seemed like reasonable to resign. I'm not somebody who resigns early. Well, that was probably the best player I played in a really serious game, possibly ever. I've played people who became better at chess, like Fabiano and Hikaru and Anand, and I could go on. But when I did play them, they weren't really top 20, top 30 in the world. In fact, a couple of them were children. Okay, so that was my first round in the Pro Chess League that was played yesterday. I'm going to make 4 videos today. This is video 1. Please visit our website of our new chess center, www.atlchessclub.com. The chess center is opening in September. We're raising donations now. If you like my videos, if you want our chess center to be successful, please consider a donation. And you can follow me on Twitter, Chess Club and Scholastic Center of Atlanta. And you can follow me on Facebook, the same thing, or Ben Finegold, and you can get links to my videos and Chess Center website. And please consider a donation, and please leave comments. I like your comments. I'm not saying I'm going to listen to them, but I'll look at them. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Bye.